with financial insights, offering free online, on-site, and on-air B-Warp presentations. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Programs helps our community acquire, sustain, and pass down legacy wealth. High school seniors can apply for this year's scholarship awards at parksideedc.org. Scholarships will be awarded at Parkside EDC's Gospel/Jazz Brunch on Sunday, April the 27th. For details, tickets, or donations, please visit parksideedc.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Hello. What's up? God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show right here is called First Things First, and my first thing every day is giving thanks and giving praises and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. Let's bless this microphone, telephone, and our space. So the way we do the show around here on a Thursday, which it is, hour one, we look local, what's happening on the left coast side of town. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive with a person or persons of interest. We're pretty much on that schedule today, and looking forward to all of these conversations, although we will be hearing from another one of the participants in the Hawthorne Business Expo and Job Fair, which is happening a week from today, and which I will be hosting. So we'll do that as well. You're invited in every hour at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. And you can tap in, weigh in, or just talk smack on social media. We're at KBLA 1580 on all platforms. We're streaming right now on YouTube. And you can find me at DiPrima Radio, DiPrima Radio. Big, big thank you to everybody who came out to our Altadena Eaton Canyon Town Hall meeting, 100 days and counting. It was a packed house. So many people received air purifiers and the $100 gift cards and fellowship. And we really had some great dialogue. So thank you to everyone who came out. Thank you to Quinn Emanuel, our sponsors, and of course, Quinn Emanuel Trial Lawyers, and of course, Tavis, and the whole team that worked really hard to make that a successful evening. Dr. Nicolai Corte for giving up some of his airtime to make that happen, and the whole team. Miles back here at the station, keeping things smooth. Lyle Gregory, a lot of people. Guess who's here? Okay. You know what we're going to do right now? My friend and colleague, you do want to do it. Don't preempt my creative impulses.
Do it.
Oh, you're going to introduce yourself because I want to make sure that you get the intro that you deserve.
A black girl
Oh, that was easy. I could have did that.
with a lot of opinions.
A black girl with a lot of opinions who happens to be my friend and colleague.
That's right.
Also
we
a
are
writer.
friends.
Am I allowed to say you're a writer?
I think so. It's already out there now. No.
Okay, yeah.
As if people didn't know. If you didn't know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. Jasmyne Cannick, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. Good morning, Miles. And good morning, KBLA family. I am getting there. Coffee is in hand. By the end of the show, I will be on it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that works for me. But look, I appreciate you coming in. I know this is not, crack of dawn is not your favorite time.
Dark 30?
Yeah.
Yeah, dark 30.
Not your favorite time at all. And we do have a lot to talk about, but I think the thing that really has been on your mind, and it's funny because it's been on my mind too, and there's so much happening in the news cycle that it's easy to get distracted and overwhelmed. But I keep talking about this, and it was so funny talking to you yesterday that it's on your mind, which is this guy, Kilmar
Abrego.
Yeah, who is trapped in an El Salvadorian concentration camp, basically.
Yeah. I think that is something that all of us should be talking about and thinking about. For folks who you shouldn't be new to this story, but if you are new to this story, the Trump administration has gone on this, rampage, and they accidentally deported this man to El Salvador. Now, he had status here in the U.S., so he was undocumented, but he came over seeking asylum. So he had status here, and he was still deported. And this is the part where it just gets really funky, Dominique, and it really bothers me. And it's something we all need to be thinking about, because the Trump administration admitted that they made a mistake in sending him there, and then did nothing to fix it. And, there have been a couple of court hearings, and the court has said that you need to facilitate his return.
The Supreme Court
has said you need to facilitate his return back to the U.S. Then we had then we had Senator Van Hollen that went yesterday and spoke to El Salvador and spoke to the vice president, who told him that the reason that they have not returned him is because the U.S. is paying them to hold him.
Right. Which, reality, they are. We have already paid $6 million to hold prisoners.
Right. Exactly. And so for Black folks specifically, because I've had this conversation with so many folks because all of this is tied together, right? So you also have a president. We also have a president who has said, whose press secretary has said, who was caught, sort of like on a hot mic with El Salvador's president, saying that he is in fact looking into ways to deport American citizens. When I bring up Mr. Abrego's situation to Black folks, or I talk about this, it's always like, oh, it's just the criminals. It's just the bad people.
Which reminds me of all those Latinos that voted for Trump. Oh, he's only going to deport
or the
criminals.
federal workers that voted for
federal workers.
FAFO. But it's like that is a slippery slope, and the definition of who is a criminal in this country is constantly changing. And so while you may think that you are safe today, they may be kicking in your door at 3 a.m. and dragging you out in a black bag a week from now. And so I don't think it's something that Black folks can, ignore or put it off and say, oh, it's just those bad people, because that definition is constantly changing. And when you have a president that is saying he is in fact looking into ways to deport, American citizens, to me that is very, very scary.
He wants to deport the worst of the worst.
He
And
can
his
start with
definition
himself.
Hello.
He can start with himself.
Yeah, he's got 34 felonies. I mean, but the thing about
And no one wants to live next door to him either. Because his press secretary was like, well, Caroline Levitt said, the people you wouldn't want to live next door to in your neighborhood. Yeah, start with President Trump.
Yeah, I mean, and there's layers to this. I know that there are those among us who think, well, that's, an immigration problem or a migrant problem, or why are we standing up for Latinos, which, by the way, I have no problem with because they're also human beings. But this idea, now they're saying, after they admitted that they made a mistake in deporting this guy, now they are saying if he comes back, he will be labeled as an illegal immigrant and deported again. So even though he had protected status and they took him by accident, now they're saying, well, we're going to deport you. And they're claiming he's a member of MS-13, even though the reason he was given protected status here, he's been here since age 16, is because
they were fleeing gangs.
They were trying to get away from MS-13.
Salvador, and
right.
And they came here.
And he probably would have been killed, but there's no evidence that he was a member of the gang, other than they said he wore a Chicago Bulls hat.
I read. So let's start at the top of what you said. Black folks, we need to get off of this every immigrant, migrant issue as a Latino thing. You are feeding into the same nonsense that the mainstream media and other sort of groups are putting out there. 1 in 5 people in this country are either Black folks in this country are either an immigrant or the child of immigrants. We in Los Angeles have the largest Belizean, Jamaican, Nigerian, Ghanaian. We have so many Black and West Indian immigrants in Los Angeles.
Right, but if you're getting your Tariq Nasheed on, those folks are tethers or whatever the...
But we're not. We're we're grounded in reality. And so we have to remember that the immigrant, the migrant struggle is also our struggle as well, because a lot of our people are immigrants and have come from somewhere else. I'm talking to you African Americans and you folks who, try to act like this isn't our issue. It absolutely is our issue. And even if you remove that whole immigration piece out of it, like I said, they are looking for ways to deport American citizens. So,
Right. And if they can just change the story, like, okay, he had protected status, but now we're going to say he's a gang member, even though we were supposedly protecting him from gang members ever since 16. Right. You don't think they can change the story on a Black man or a Black woman? I mean, that's what we've been dealing with since day one. Why is Emmett Till dead? White people lied on him. And that's what has been happening to us ever since we've been lynched. So folks think that our little blue passport, which, I treasure that thing, is going to protect us from this, where they're just changing the story and where the doggone administration is defying the Supreme Court. This is an extremely conservative Supreme Court made up of people this dude actually appointed, and he won't even listen to them.
It's scary. It is really, really scary, the direction that this country is going in. And I feel really sorry for people who are not paying attention, who are trying to act like they're apolitical, that this doesn't affect them, that as long as they keep their head down and just, go to work and live their lives, nothing is going to bother them. This administration is going to touch all of us.
So, the Lemon Exhaustion says, aren't they also floating the idea of martial law? I did see something on that yesterday, but I was preparing for Altadena, so I didn't really read into it. Did you read into it? I know
I've seen some stuff about that. Look, here's the thing. I don't put anything past this administration. You know what really sometimes bothers me is that people say that folks like us who are paying attention, talking about this, like that we're so focused and obsessed with Trump. I'm obsessed with freedom. I am obsessed with my life. I am obsessed with making sure that folks are okay. So yeah, we do pay attention and we do monitor all of the things that are being said, because if it's one thing that I have learned from this administration is that if they say it, they're going to try and do it.
Right. So what they're reporting is that he may be trying to declare martial law based on the Insurrection Act of 1807. Here's the thing I don't get, Jasmine. You know what? We'll talk about this when we come forward. I don't understand why people are saying we may be facing a constitutional crisis.
We're in a constitutional crisis.
That's what I don't get. Like, how is this not a constitution? I'm not listening to the Supreme Court. I'm defying the courts. I'm changing my story. I'm deporting people without how is that a due process? How is that not a constitutional crisis?
We are absolutely in the middle of a constitutional crisis right now.
Yeah.
And like I said, everybody needs to be aware and everyone should be afraid and trying to figure out how to fight back against it. Are we just going to sit here and just lay down and let it happen to us?
Well, yeah. We'll talk about that when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Hi, I'm Dominique DiPrima, and it's almost time to celebrate KBLA's 4th anniversary, coming up Juneteenth 2025. We'll be marking the achievement with 4 key community events, including a special symposium, luncheon, and brain trust hosted by me entitled The State of Black Women in Los Angeles. Keep it locked here for details on how to join us for this groundbreaking symposium examining the unique challenges, triumphs, and contributions of Black women in Los Angeles in the areas of education, healthcare, community leadership, cultural and political contributions. This public convocation will provide a critical forum to address the specific social, economic, and political realities facing Black women in LA today. We'll go live with a radio broadcast and YouTube live stream, a public discussion, and a private dialogue with some of LA's most impactful women. It's an affirmation of Black women standing at the intersection of race and gender in times of adversity while demonstrating remarkable resilience and leadership. We will listen and we will speak out and be heard, all in service of finding opportunities and solutions. Please plan to join us in celebrating our 4th anniversary by amplifying the voices of Black women. For more on our symposium and 4 events celebrating 4 years on the air, simply stay tuned or keep an eye on KBLA1580.com and help make this Juneteenth more jubilant with all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
It's me, Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. I see those dry elbows, baby. But don't worry, get moisturized right in the shower. So hydrated you can skip the lotion after.
Don't wanna see it dry no more. Skin so moisturized with body wash.
Look at you now, no more dry skin. Your skin gets the moisture it craves with
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Okay, so I'm reading up on this, and they're claiming that because Trump instated some emergency powers on January 20th, that he has until Easter, aka 420 Day, to implement martial law. What's interesting is that there's no one definition of martial law. It basically means the military takes over everything. But I don't know why he would do that, because he's already abridging our rights without declaring martial law.
True, but why does he do any of the things he does? To benefit his people, right? So I don't know. I don't even want to say that, because you just never know with this person.
Yeah, and it's really, I want to push back on one thing you said, Jasmine.
What?
You said we should all be afraid. And I just don't want us to be walking around in fear. Fear is the mind killer, to quote Dune. I mean,
So how should we be walking around then?
Aware.
Okay, afraid and aware.
It's
Afraid and
different.
aware.
Afraid means you're reacting in fear.
But at least you're reacting, and that's part of the problem. We have more than 50% of the American society who is walking around oblivious and acting like none of this is going to affect me. Even his supporters, right? And some of them have already found out the hard way by losing their jobs. I think that more of them are going to find out in other ways, but we do need people to react. We do need people to respond. We do need people to push back and not just sit on their couch looking at the news or scrolling on their phones while it's all happening like, oh my God, look at that. He did that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we going to do?
Well, people are protesting. You saw something like 50,000 people out Grand Park, and Bernie Sanders and AOC are doing a tour. People are protesting at Tesla places. They're they are trying to show up. Jerry Anderson says that with no disturbance or event, then martial law would be too big of a gamble, but also says it would let him run the table without hindrance or transparency. I don't see a lot of hindrance or transparency right now,
right?
But maybe I'm missing something. And Paulie says the oligarchs surrounding him are complicit because their power and wealth grow as well. Yeah, of course, they're enablers. Would he even be president without Elon Musk? I doubt it.
Yeah, it's just all alarming, and I just hope folks that are listening and consider themselves to be politically astute and paying attention are also formulating, several plans for how you leave the country if you need to, your exit plan, plans on how you're going to help make a difference in 2026, right? Because I'm really focused on 2026 as well as 2028.
At those elections.
That Liberation Day is in 2028, as far as I am concerned.
Yeah, unless some godly act happens before that. Lemon Exhaustion says, I think being scared is natural and maybe even a good thing as long as you don't let it paralyze you. I think we make bad decisions when we're afraid. We use the amygdala, the fight or flight part of our brain. And I do not want to be scared for 4 years. I'm going to pay attention.
You just want to be aware.
Aware to me means paying. Yeah. Well, aware and taking action, not just going,
okay.
I'm so aware.
So we're both saying the same thing. You're going to be aware and taking action, and I'm telling people to be afraid and take action. But the point is, folks need to do something. And oftentimes fear is what causes people to act, right? To finally get up off their behinds and do something. I personally, I don't care if you are aware or you are afraid out there in Radio Land. I just care that you stay informed and that you participate and you do not just sit around and let this happen.
Yeah. B. Bell says, don't just be scared, be prepared. Okay, I just want to be prepared without being scared. And Grand Wizard Sovereign says, join us at our angry parade. To me, it's not, you can be angry too. There's a lot to be angry about. I just don't want to get stuck in fear and anger because I don't think it's what's best for our physical, mental, or spiritual health.
There's a lot of things that aren't good for my physical, spiritual, and mental health. Every day, Dominique, when I leave my house and see my street littered with Black people who are unhoused, and I have to drive through this city and see mostly just Black people unhoused, walking around naked, talking to themselves. That's not good for my physical, spiritual, or mental health.
Nor theirs.
So every time I go to the grocery store and I have to pay $8 for some eggs, that's not good for my physical, spiritual, mental, or financial health. So life is this, no one said our life was supposed to be easy or perfect and happy. That's just something we have to deal with. But this right here is just a new level that I just don't know it. I have all these, there are even some friends in my life who I talk to and they're just like, oh, well, it's just the criminals, or, oh, well, I'm not political. I don't want to be political. You don't really have a choice right now. But, for the folks who want to stay in that, operating like that, as far as I'm concerned, if they get saved, it's by luck.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm not going out of my way You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm working with people who are trying to get things done, and everybody else, I mean, I'm thinking of this one friend I have. I'm like, I don't know what to say, girl, because you want to live off in La La Land, so you might get left behind.
Yeah, I mean, that could happen. Paul also says black people are never scared. We stay woke because we can never sleep. I need my sleep. I need my beauty sleep. And I'm fine with staying woke. You want to call it woke, you want to call it aware, whatever it is. I guess because I talk to people every day on the radio, Jasmine, and I feel like so many folks are depressed and scared and, you know, and I'm talking people off the ledge after I get off the air all day. So I need us to find a place where we can be engaged, like you said.
Yeah, they
take
need to get up off their butt
without
and do
being
something.
paralyzed and living in fear. And you can only kill me once.
True. I mean, and there's you know, it's so early in the morning.
Yeah.
We have nothing to lose but our chains. We have nothing to lose but our chains. And I just need people to think about that. That is all you have to lose.
Asada Shakur, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, we have nothing to lose. It is our duty to fight for freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is our duty to win, for sure. We agree on that. I just, I want to, we only have a minute here before news, traffic, and sports. But we started with Bukele, you know, the dictator in El Salvador, who is of Lebanese descent, but he's Salvadorian. And this prison, I mean, I've talked to folks who have actually physically been there and seen the data. That's not somewhere you want to go. That's not like a U.S. prison. You may or may not get food. You'll get tortured. People literally die there every day. And Bukele calls himself the world's coolest dictator.
Well, so does our dictator. He calls himself the world's coolest dictator as well. So, you know, they have that in common. You know, I will say for people who want to kind of understand what that prison is like, they should watch Prison Break. I would fast forward to I think it was season 2 or 3, whenever they get down to, you know, South America. That is literally like a carbon copy of the prison. And folks who watch Prison Break know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like a carbon copy of what we're talking about. I think the prison's name is Ceto or Cetok or something in El Salvador. Prison Break, just fast forward to when they make it all the way out of the American prison and end up in the prison down south in South Central America. That is a perfect, because sometimes people need to be entertained while they're being educated.
Okay, hold that thought. We got news, traffic, and sports, then more with Jasmyne Cannick on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Former Defense Department spokesman John Elliott resigned Wednesday, citing disinterest in a second Pentagon position. He was involved in the removal of a Jackie Robinson webpage, which was later restored with a statement supporting Robinson, Navajo Code Talkers, and the Tuskegee Airmen. The state of Connecticut is declining to sign the Trump administration's DEI orders, stating it already is in full compliance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which bans discrimination in federally funded programs. A Quinnipiac University poll shows Americans have conflicting views on AI. Over 40% think it will cause more harm than good in daily life, over 50% in education, nearly 60% in medicine, and more than half see it reducing job opportunities. And Alicia Keys, Serena Williams, and Snoop Dogg are among Time 100's most influential people of 2025. The list was released on Wednesday. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
You're going to want to sit down for this. The jumbo breakfast platter from Jack in the Box. No, seriously, it's so munch food. There's French toast sticks, grilled sausage patty, hash brown, and scrambled eggs, all for just $4.99. Get all this and so much more at Jack in the Box.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Western Conference bracket in the NBA playoffs is almost set. The only unknown is the opponent for number 1 seed Oklahoma City. OKC has to wait on the results of the play-in round. OKC will play the number 8 seed. game, which will be Dallas, Sacramento, or Memphis. Dallas and Sacramento play tonight. The winner plays at Memphis Friday for the right to face OKC. The other first-round playoff matchups in the West, the Lakers versus Minnesota, the Clippers versus Denver, and Golden State versus Houston. Heisman Trophy winner Charlie Ward has been hired as the new men's basketball coach at HBCU Florida A&M. The 57-year-old Ward was a first-round draft pick of the New York Knicks in 1994. Ward, who won the Heisman in 1993, was a star quarterback at Florida State. Ward is facing a tough challenge. Florida A&M has not had a winning season in 18 years. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone, and should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
After producing an award-winning climate justice campaign in 2024, KBLA Talk 1580 has gone all in on its 2025 Climate Justice plus Black Health Initiative. April is Minority Health Month, and Urban Family Focus, in partnership with Providence Health Systems, presents The Heart of the Matter. Providence doctors and health equity officers will participate in informative and life-changing conversations on hypertension, health equity, behavioral health, and community engagement. Don't miss these empowering conversations on Urban Family Focus every Saturday in April at 7 and Sunday at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sponsored by Providence, Southern California's largest and most comprehensive health care network. We've got a lot to talk about on KBLA Talk 1580. Download the KBLA 1580 app or log in to KBLA1580.com. I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. On KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Hello, this is Dr. Rosa Milligan calling authors and business owners to register now for Black Writers on Tour plus Business and Tech Expo Saturday, April 26th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Carson Community Center.
Authors, aspiring writers, learn how to write, publish, and sell your book. Business owners, Black folks got the memo, and they're looking for you now. Let them know where you're at. Call 323-750-3592. It's a free event. You heard right, free. And there's something for everybody. Go to blackwritersontour.com and register today. 323-750-3592.
Literacy and technology is everybody's business. Black Writers on Tour, Saturday, April 26th, 10 to 3 p.m. Admission and parking are free. See you there. 323-750-3592. Or visit Black Writers on Tour. Don't you miss it.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
You guys have seen the videos. They're all over. They are clearly part of a Chinese marketing campaign that seems to be working on American consumers.
Some say as long as there's a tag, it will be luxury. However, in fact, more than 80% of the luxury bags in the world are made in China.
All over TikTok, Chinese influencers are taking viewers behind the scenes, exposing what they claim is the real origin of high-end luxury goods.
Want to know who's the Chinese factory behind Nike, Adidas, Fila, and EGG?
The viral videos claim most designer products are actually manufactured in Chinese factories, with only the labels stitched on somewhere else.
I guess most of you know the price of Lululemon or other big brands. They sell you a legging pants for $100. And guess what? Here in these two factories, you can get them for around $5 to $6.
These videos began showing up all over social media on China. Some American consumers are reacting like this.
This is such an epic level of petty, and I love it so much.
All right, so agreed. None of us are buying from luxury brands anymore.
These kind of videos, they're very damaging for the luxury brands.
Professor Christopher Tang of UCLA's Anderson School of Management says these videos are shaking up traditional luxury branding and destroying consumer trust. He warns the videos may not be as honest as they seem.
It could be counterfeit or imitated products as well. So in that case, there's no consumer protection. These are not the authorized luxury brand channel. So in that case, the buyers, you have to beware of the risk.
I am never going to spend more money on a bag than my rent, my cost of living. It's just not happening for me.
On a trip to China a few years ago, Jasmyne Cannick toured several factories and picked up this purse for a fraction of the U.S. retail price.
That's where I learned directly from the vendors that, hey, this is the same thing. You're just paying for a label and repackaging in the U.S.
She hopes more consumers start to understand how the retail game really works.
All right, Jasmine, and shout out to Fox 11. That was their story.
And Gina
we just
Silva,
played. The concept is interesting, though, especially against the backdrop of a trade war, which is where we are now.
I'm here for it. I love it.
Show them the bag.
Oh.
She brought the bag.
Oh.
One of the bags. It's actually really nice. It's fire. If you're on YouTube, you can see it.
It should
KBLA
show up
15.
at some point. There's a little bit of delay on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm here for it. That's a true story. I did go to China, and I was able to talk directly to Chinese vendors. And that was when I learned. That was some 10, 15 years ago. That's when I learned that, yeah, we make these here, and they just repackage them and put a new label on them and, increase the price by 800%. And I was like, But then also, Dominique, I'm like, now that I'm older too, I just don't care. People walking around here with fake hair, fake nails, fake butts, fake lips. I really don't care. I was in a hurry one day this week and actually walked out the house with a plastic bag. Okay, I just threw my stuff in a plastic bag. I honestly don't care. To the extent that I care about my bag, I want it right. But to the extent that I care, it just needs to match, right? But I will never pay more for a bag than my rent and my cost of living. And I see folks. I saw a video on social media. Some girl crying because she got an email saying she was off the wait list for a Birkin.
I saw that too.
Girl, I hope you own your home and your car outright and everything, know?
Yeah.
I just, even if I had the disposable income to do it, I wouldn't do it. And I'm just happy that we're having this conversation. Again, obviously, thanks to social media, but I think it's a really clever and smart way to fight back against score one for China. Like, I'm on China's side with this issue. And also, as I said in my piece on social media, I rather like Coach and Telfar. Those are probably two, if I had to go brand wise.
Well, at least
Telfar's black owned, right? Coach is in my price range. Telfar's in my price range. I could work with that. But I also like a lot of black designers. I like independent. Like when we go to like flea markets and different like African markets and different things. Like I like unique purses like that everyone doesn't have, right? Yeah. And I support a lot of independent designers. But that's just me.
Right. And when I go to Africa, I usually get bags because I know nobody's going to have those.
No, Nana and I have a whole thing about that. She's always bringing me back bags.
Yeah. I mean, I like to spend my money with black-owned bag places if I can. But however, I also think there's another aspect to this because with the, whatever it is, 154% tariffs that this Republican administration is putting on Chinese goods, the Chinese are banking on American consumers to buy direct from them online.
I gave people a couple of websites to go to.
Oh, they're banking on Jasmine. Are you a paid influencer?
You know what?
government.
When I was going to sleep last night, I kid you not, I actually thought maybe I should lead a trip over to Beijing of folks who want to go and buy direct.
A shopping trip.
When I came back, I will never forget, they asked me when I landed back in the U.S., they were like, do you own a store here? Are you selling? Because all of the bags, because people had given me money to bring them back bags, and I brought gifts back for people. Yeah, it's worth it.
But they let you through anyway.
Of course.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even online, I don't know how that works, but I feel like with TikTok, especially in all these places you can buy stuff, that the Chinese, part of that is a propaganda campaign to say, hey, buy directly from us, go around the tariffs, go around these so-called European designers that are really making their products here.
Yeah, I agree. I saw a funny meme on social media where, they use Michael Jackson's famous line, "It's not true. None of it's true." Mm-hmm. And the meme writing was Louis Vuitton responds to China's claims that they make their purses. Right. But you know what? Look, what this has also hopefully shown people is that no one survives by themselves. So European nations work with China. The U.S. works with China. All these different countries get something from each other, right?
Right.
And it shows that we're not as independent as we'd like to think that we are. I mean, there's a video of one Chinese man who was like, let me show you what I have from my house from the U.S. And it's like nothing. And he was like, do you have products from China in your house? And every American.
Well, you saw them clowning Carolyn.
Yes, they found her. They found her dress, her suit.
She was wearing a dress made in China while talking smack about China.
Well, and so think about all of the MAGA wear too, the Trump stuff. It's not. Plenty of it is made in China,
or Bangladesh or Vietnam.
And I will confirm, because I have my own authentic MAGA hat. Hear me out. I own it because I thought back when he won the first time I might need it to get out of some scary situations. I might have to blend in, right? And so I've always held on to it for protection in case I need to act like them to get out of something, right? But I'm going to look at that hat and see what it says inside.
Yeah, I'm sure. I seriously doubt they're made in the U.S., those the America First hats. It's a lot to consider, but I do think you're right. This has been a wake-up call for how we're all globally interdependent.
Yeah.
And China kind of has the upper hand in a trade war with us. Not only do we consume a lot of products that are made there, including our iPhones, but we also, they own hella property. They invest in Hollywood movies. They consume Hollywood entertainment. We have a lot more to lose than they have in the trade.
Nikes, Adidas, all the shoes that, folks scramble to get. I mean, there's very little that in terms of the things that we consume the most that China doesn't have something to do with.
I mean, and what we do export, right? Grains and meats and nuts, things that we manufacture or grow. Other countries don't want it now because of our tariffs. So that's also going to hurt domestic producers, farmers, producers of products. People are, are already taking our stuff off the shelf. Kentucky, and it's interesting how some places like Canada, for example, are targeting red states. They're not just boycotting. They're specifically, no more Kentucky bourbon.
And I'm here for it. I love it. I'm here for it. That is the level of pettiness and the level of that is exactly what I'm looking for. Like, be very specific with it. And I've seen that with China too. I mean, and it makes me happy also to know that they're paying attention enough to know where this madness is coming from.
Yeah, that's true. Well, when we come forward, I want to get your take on Governor Gavin Newsom suing over these tariffs. Is that the kind of action you're looking for? It's KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
This is Stevie Wonder, calling on Los Angeles property owners to help get unhoused veterans off the street. If you're a property owner or know someone who is, consider accepting veteran housing vouchers. You will receive guaranteed rent while providing a stable and safe home. Help end veteran homelessness and make a real difference in people's lives.
Learn more by emailing houseourvets@lacity.org.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Individual results may vary. Consult a doctor prior to use.
If you've struggled to lose weight in the past, this important message is for you because you could lose as much as 50 pounds or more with Zelfie. Zelfie makes it easy and affordable to get weight loss treatment 100% online. Zelfie providers can prescribe FDA-approved GLP-1 weight loss medications clinically shown to help people lose weight like Wegovy, Zepbound, and others. Plus, help get the medication covered by insurance so it's as little as $0 a month.
The doctors are super helpful, and the meds have been a game changer. It's the first program I've had success with.
Before Zelfie, I was unable to lose weight, even though I was eating healthy and exercising 6 days a week. Zelfie helped me not only lose weight, but I feel so much better.
Text GOAL to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie and see if weight loss medications like Wegovy or Zepbound are right for you. Don't wait. Text now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text GOAL to 200-300. That's GOAL to 200-300. GOAL to 200-300.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio. KBLA Talk 1580.
And you're right, Jasmine. I can't tell the difference between the two bags. B-Bell wants to know the websites.
I dropped it in the chat. I dropped one of them in the chat. Follow me on Insta for more stuff.
Yeah, it's Hello Jasmine, right?
It's
on
Hello
Instagram.
Jasmine.
Look at that. I got it memorized. I'm at DiPrima Radio, and we're at KBLA 1580. Fahima Sex says China is the second largest foreign holder of U.S. debt, holding approximately $760 billion in U.S. debt. Yeah, they own a lot of land. I just think they have the upper hand. I don't understand the calculus in provoking them to this extent, but I guess we're going to find out. Gavin Newsom, really it's Rob Bonta, but for this particular case, Newsom is allowing himself to be the face, and I think it's because...
Allowing himself? That was so generous of you.
Well, I say that because he's had Rob Bonta running quarterback on all these other lawsuits against the Trump administration. I think it's because he's trying to make nice with them, right? And maybe... his presidential aspirations.
I was about to say.
But because the tariffs are unpopular with Republicans, I think that's why he is the face of this particular lawsuit against the Trump administration. What they're saying is that the president doesn't have the right he doesn't have the authority to impose tariffs under this emergency act that he's using, that it actually doesn't give him the right to impose across-the-board tariffs. And since we are the fifth largest economy in the world, we could lose billions of dollars because of these tariffs. and that California and the 40 million people that live here are disproportionately impacted by it. To be honest, whatever his motivations are, I'm glad they're doing it. He's saying the International Economic Emergency Powers Act does not give him the authority to bring tariffs under the law, and that's how they're suing. I know you'll still be getting your knockoff bags from China, but I mean, do you think that's a good move?
Well, any pushback against the Trump administration is a good move. I mean, none of us should be, especially those of us who are in positions of power, should be just sort of taking it and going along with it. And yeah, California does have a lot at stake in this war that Trump has started.
Yeah.
But everything that anyone, pushes back on Trump with ends up in the courts. And, the courts have been strategically packed and strategically filled with a lot of folks who support him, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean we don't move forward with it. So we'll see what happens. I mean,
still waiting for the price of eggs to come down.
Well, I'm waiting for the price of a lot of things to come down.
Yeah, mostly rent.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one of the things we were talking about yesterday in our Altadena Eat and Fire town hall, is that these tariffs, this trade war, is making it harder for folks to rebuild. Most of our lumber, comes from Canada, and there were other things that they were spelling out that we rely on that come from Canada, from China, and other places that are necessary to rebuild. Concrete, I didn't realize most of our concrete comes from Mexico. Learned that yesterday at our town hall, which means this is the wrong time to be bothering everybody. We got like a whole city to rebuild.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure in those group of residents, there are probably some people who supported that man. Because like I said, everybody's going to be touched. It's gonna affect us in some way. And so for residents of Altadena, this is one of the ways that his dictatorship is affecting them, which is why we all need to be paying attention and pushing back and sounding off with our senators and our members of Congress as well, because, I think that's part of the issue too, is that you have a lot of members of Congress who support him. But if their position was in danger, I think they'll all rethink it, because most of them are very self-centered. So that, which is why 2026 is so important. But folks, you have to, you can sit and scream at your phone and at the television and the radio, but you need to reserve some of that for also your member of Congress and our U.S. senators, to let them know how you feel. Even if you have a member of Congress who is a Democrat, you still need to weigh in. Folks need to hear from us and know that we're paying attention.
Yeah. I think that, to your point, back to Mr. Kilmar Abrego, that, they now there's a couple, Fahima just sent me this article, actually she sent it yesterday, the 2 immigration attorneys from Massachusetts who are U.S. citizens have been told by the Department of Homeland Security that they must leave the country. And that's the beginning of what we were talking about here, which is the end of your rights as a citizen. They've gotten letters from the U.S. government saying that they have to get out. One of these ladies has been a U.S. citizen for 20 years. She's not even on parole. And we'll see what happens with that. But this, the second one is also a U.S. citizen, born here, and they're telling them they have to get out. Based on what? I don't know. But the ball is already moving.
It absolutely is. And I know a lot of people have canceled vacation plans, who are, really rethinking leaving the country.
Yeah, because you got to get back in.
Understanding that, I'm probably one of those people that they might stop, like, all they have to do is take one look at my feed and I'm definitely anti-Trump, but it's that petty with them now where they're creating problems for anyone. And what does that sound like to you when you are being targeted for speaking out against a regime? Like, people, do you see where this country is going?
I mean, yeah, it's like I was talking with Dr. Melina Abdullah on Monday, and they caravan, BLM LA caravaned to Channel Islands yesterday to support Angel Marie Taylor. They're trying to punish her. This is a young woman who is African American, born in South LA. They're not even punishing her for Palestine. They're punishing her for protesting the dismantling of DEI.
Yeah, and right now they're focused on certain things, but what happens when they turn to focusing on any of us who participated in a Black Lives Matter protest, who stood up against police brutality? What happens then when we become the targets again, And so, like I said earlier, it's a slippery slope, and folks need to be paying attention and not just thinking that it's the other people, that it's the other ones, that it's not you, that you're safe, because you're not safe at all.
Yeah, Jerry says we not only have a problem getting back in, but if we go missing over there, ain't nobody coming to look for us. And I repeat, true. I read one lawyer said, have a letter with you at all times, self-addressed stamped envelope that goes to your lawyer and says, I've been detained, come looking for me. And you hand it to a stranger and ask them to put it in a mailbox. That seems like a pretty shaky plan, but better than no plan.
And we didn't even get on the self-deporting.
Oh, my goodness.
That, where he's offering money and plane tickets to folks to self-deport.
Yeah. And then they've declared some people dead, hoping that they'll self-deport.
Hoping that they'll self-deport.
You're dead. Go away. I'm laughing because it's so ridiculous to me. It's laugh to keep from crying. Declaring there are two genders. You ain't in charge of what God creates. Oh, so intersex people don't exist now because you said so? What?
I still haven't been able to wrap my head around how super Christians decided he was the second coming of Jesus. I mean, that man is so far from God-like.
Watch Bad Faith. There's a movie, the documentary called Bad Faith, and it made it very clear for me.
Okay.
Because it explains that.
Okay.
Anyway, Jasmine, we got a minute here. What do you want to tell us? Tell us how to follow you, what you got going on next. And thank you again for waking up and coming and hanging out with me.
Oh, no problem. I want everybody to have a great day. And just saying, sometimes it's hard for us just to have a good day, right?
Yeah.
Mine starts off with coffee, and you. And if folks want to follow me, just not in person, but you can definitely do it online. I'm Hello Jasmyne, JASMYNE on Instagram, Jasmine on X. I'm on all the social things, Facebook. The only thing I'm not on is I don't really mess with TikTok. It's not really my thing. But yeah, I'm most active on Facebook and Instagram these days. I don't know. I used to be on a thing called Twitter, but then it changed its name, and I'm not just on there that much.
It changed its gender.
I'm just not on there that much.
All right.
But yeah, so thank you. I'll be on Dateline, by the way, on May 4th. So folks should check it out. They can see a teaser for that on my Instagram and my Facebook.
Hello, Jasmine.
Shout out to my friend Josh for having me on.
All right.
But yeah, thank you. And thanks, Miles, and everyone. Have a great day.
News, traffic, and sports. Then we're talking business and more on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know with BIN News. Former Defense Department spokesman John Elliott resigned Wednesday, citing disinterest in a second Pentagon position. He was involved in the removal of a Jackie Robinson webpage, which was later restored with a statement supporting Robinson, Navajo Code Talkers, and the Tuskegee Airmen. The state of Connecticut is declining to sign the Trump administration's DEI orders, stating it already is in full compliance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which bans discrimination in federally funded programs. A Quinnipiac University poll shows Americans have conflicting views on AI. Over 40% think it will cause more harm than good in daily life. Over 50%